What's up, Dakota?
Hey, Doc, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. First time I got to see and talk to you about the big win, man. Game changer, started to wake you up.
It's all right.
I'm good. So, my goal with this really is just to kind of lay out your story, let you do kind of, your background, what happened, how you got here, how we helped you, and just, really, I mean, I know your story, obviously, at this point, but, just
Right.
the cluster that the VA process is and how you got through it and how you started at like 10% and got to here and like how do we help you. So if you just want to give us a little background, we're going to record it and hopefully help show other people. The goal of this is really to say, hey, if you trust us, which is asking a lot from people, right? If you
Right.
trust our process, we'll get you there eventually over time depending on people's situation. So if you just want to kind of frame it that way and kind of tell people, who we are and what we did for you and who you are and your story. Really, it's your chance to tell your story.
All right. Um, well, I'm Dakota McGill. I was a U.S. Navy veteran. I am a U.S. Navy veteran. 5 years, 2017, 2022. I got out of the military and uh, worked a couple of temporary jobs and uh, I guess found out about the VA and like everything the VA does, and you know, realizing that I had a lot of benefits at my disposal, even with just being a veteran that I didn't know about. So I got around into you know, getting around to filing for a disability, and I filed by myself the first time. Um, I put a handful of things, uh, back, knees, uh, mental health stuff. I sent it through and got denied everything. Um,
So
I got
can you
I got
go into that
10%.
as far as like, did you go to CMP exams and like your first pass through, how did you feel like you were treated and how the
Yeah,
result that
my
first?
first pass through with the system, like I went through when I went to the hearing loss one and the back knee CMP, and I thought they went pretty good. Obviously, it's my first time. I didn't know anything about anything to do with that whole process. I was just kind of doing what they told me to do at that point. And I thought it went good. And then I went to the mental health exam, TMP, and uh, thought that went good too. And come to find out, like when they had sent it all through, I actually got to read what what the examiners wrote, and they just pretty much everything that I told her, she kind of just disregarded and just put down on paper. I don't even remember exactly what she wrote down, but it was just, yeah, it was just very rude and unnecessary, and they did not take the time to listen or care or anything. Um, kind of feel like I got over on because I don't know. Yeah, it didn't go very well at all my first time.
So when you got that back, and again, I can speak from personal experience with my claim, and that's really what got me into seeing how, unfair and upside down it was. And I thought, oh, maybe it's just Murphy's Law for me. But as I started talking to more people, once I was on the outside, I realized it was the rule, not the exception of people getting absolutely cheated or just inaccuracies in general. And then I learned, how the rating scales worked and were slanted against people. And I think, my theory, I don't know, and then, the individuals that rate, VA claims, but you can judge somebody by their actions more than you can just what they say they do. And, I realized that it's almost, my theory is that they want you to give up, right? The first time through, put you through all this, it's stressful. And, everybody, it's a stressful situation for somebody that's got it all together doing great. But if you're struggling, which is the nature of somebody making a disability claim, the hell you go through and the stress of that, it's like, why would I ever put myself through that again? I think that's by design. And again, maybe I've just been down too many rabbit holes in my tinfoil hat, but when you see something enough times, you realize that, it's not a conspiracy, it's fact. So,
Right.
did you have that experience when you got through it where you're just like, I don't know, like this, just whatever? Because that's what I felt. That's how a lot of people I talk to feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I even brought that up when I was talking to my wife about it, that I think I was like, maybe that's a part of the process is you have to get denied before you get anything, because I don't know, maybe that's their way of trying to beat the fight out of people or something like that. I don't know, but it does feel like that. Uh, because I will tell you, for that first time after I got denied, man, I was super just ready to not even try. And I honestly came across y'all by chance. Uh, I went golfing with my buddy, and his friend had tagged along, and the topic of y'all's company just came up, and it kind of piqued my ear, and I was like, what do they do? And he explained to me that y'all basically just guide people in the right direction and like give people the information that nobody else is going to give them, unless you go looking for it yourself and you know where to look and what you're looking at. It's really hard to decipher the madness of the VA, which is where y'all come in. And I
There's
so glad.
so many different points of resources, right? If you Google something, we all know when we're being marketed to, or if it's Reddit threads, like what's credible, what's the reality, all the variability with the VA. The VA's, standard, how they disclose the process is confusing, super confusing and hidden, even to providers and certainly, veteran claimants. So, ironically, what you said kind of resonated with me because that's how I came about to start working with this company as it's a startup and brand new, was that it was organic. It was by chance. And it was it just something felt good about the group we were putting together, with no idea that a year later that it would be so successful as it is. And I believe, and huge believer, and I'm biased because I'm a part of it, but is that we tell people the truth, whether it's convenient or not, and we don't give up. Right. That's kind of cliche, but it's true. Like in your story, obviously we'll get into the details of that in a minute, but we'll keep piecing it together until it's done, because that's the way the system in front of us, right? It's a landmine field that, again, they want to trip you up. They want to cause, difficulty so that they don't pay out. And that's my theory, and I stick with it. But so you came across M2M. Now tell me about kind of the early stages and how we built your claim with you and what happened. How do we get to this great success of 100% for you?
Yeah, so when we started the claim, yeah, I think y'all were still pretty early on in the company too, because y'all had a whole different like format and setup, like way y'all were doing stuff. So when y'all first started with me, I think I had a meeting with I don't remember if it was you, Doc, or if it was one of the, I don't remember, but I had a meeting, and basically y'all asked me what all was wrong with me, pretty much, like what all was I gonna claim, and I'll put it down like a whole list on this PDF document, and I was able to go and actually like research what I was claiming, and like just what the actual words for things are called. I think it was a link to the rating Bible that I went through, and I was reading into that a lot, and yeah, it was very quick when I got started with y'all. From the time I contacted the time we actually got the ball rolling, and from there, uh, it was meetings with you. It was meetings doing the DBQs with the provider for mental health, which is 10 times, 100 times better than the people that I dealt with just going through with nobody, and having the VA do paperwork through their examinations. It was 100 times better. Actually felt like there were people that were on my team that actually cared about the outcome, and like it wasn't just like another number or another dollar sign. You know, anytime that I hit any of y'all up about anything, I always got a very quick, speedy answer.
Right. And I think part of our answer system is, at the, really foundation of the company. And, again, as the medical officer, the chief medical officer of the company, it all funnels through me and how we set things up. But it's, we don't promise things that we don't control. Right. And a big part of
Right,
these claims, evidence building and, the strategy is just a word, but our actual strategy piecing together has to do with giving the VA what it needs with your help. It's a partnership. Again,
right,
cliche, it's true. Anybody that thinks that it's just, oh, they've got an easy button and this templated document we're going to hand you and the VA is going to work, they're lying to you, right? It
right.
takes, it's been a year. It took a year for your case, right? And
Yeah,
again, if I could get these things done with the VA in 2 months, I would. But sometimes you got to think that long game and how you maneuver the VA system.
right. Yeah, that was the big thing that y'all helped me with too is the patience and actually having my ducks in a row, and having the things that I need or before I press the button on that. And you're right, it isn't a quick thing at all by any means. I mean, I got out in 2022. I just got my rating back after being denied twice and filing a supplemental. Um, 2025, March of 2025. So almost 3 years later.
Yeah, it's a marathon, but look at your situation. I think you're on the right side of the bell curve for a lot of people, but you got a huge back pay and,
Yeah,
finally get accounted for what you deserved the whole time. Nothing, did things change? Of course, a little bit over from 2022 to 2025, but the reality is that you got cheated on the front end by the system. And then,
absolutely.
if you had not intervened, you would have accepted that, 10% for tinnitus or even 0% all denials, but in the end, we're talking about a 6-figure payout that's yours, you deserve that the whole time. And it is hard, and a year's worth of work and services and stuff, like, it's not fun. It's not fun for you. It's not fun for us necessarily, because we do actually care. It's not just, make you think we care, because that's, anybody can
Right,
sense that, right? You can talk a good game, oh, empathy, say the right words with the right body language and tone. But the truth is that we actually do. I hate it when it takes forever, but sometimes it's worth it.
yeah, absolutely, it's worth the wait. And just a testament to not just hanging it up, and like keep going, stepping back to the plate, and keep trying to get what you deserve. If they're going to deny you, I feel like it's a guarantee. They're going to deny you for something that you deserve, and you're going to have to go back and try again. And it's just all about knowledge, and y'all fill the gap between the VA and the veteran, and being able to fill that gap with knowledge and ability to, just words I'm looking for. Sorry, still half asleep. Just the ability to do it right, I guess.
Right. And, the way I think of it too, it's, empowering people. This is not secret knowledge. We don't aim to keep things secret. However, the system really creates a secret hidden process, so where, again, there's a lot of confusion and just variability. You can see people with the same exact story. One person gets 100%, somebody gets denied for everything. And so it's very
Yeah,
hard for me, as, I'm an objective, type A surgeon type mentality. Like, you can't say it's black and white when it's absolutely all over the place and gray and random. And that's why I got so much gray hair, I think, amongst other things, is that it drives me nuts. It's like, if they were just honest, we wouldn't even be having this talk and we wouldn't have to go through all this. But that's what they do. And they're right. I'm a believer as a, physician, and a Navy officer, that, this thing is run by bureaucratic legal entities, right? So I'm not a lawyer, but I've argued enough for cases when I was active duty, my own case and others since, is that I kind of know the playing field of what we're dealing with. And,
Mhm.
things like certain types of evidence, certain types of back end documentation, whether it's independent medical opinions, nexus letters, or just how and what we claim, right? And there you have to know how to do that and set up to know that in the end it's going to be reviewed by a desk jockey with a lawyer type administrative medical legal mind giving somebody an algorithm. And so
Right.
that's why a lot of cases I try to convince people, and build trust, because why should you listen to me and Milton Millions, right? Because you can't typically just pick one hill to die on. If it's your back, for example, you got to understand, not necessarily your situation, but a lot of situations is that that's not going to get you the highest rating. Your back in your mind may be, 50, 60% disability. And if you read it, well, I should rate this. Well, you're not going to, and that's unfair. But opening up and broadening how we attack the person holistically and the claimant, the veteran claimant holistically, and looking at everything, right? Behavioral health, headaches, musculoskeletal, all things, medical conditions. And, in the end, it doesn't matter what it takes, what makes up the 100% as long as you get there. And, I'm proud of him, happy for you, man. Like, I saw, that, and I literally ride a high when I see that, because it's like good, like, we're results, like we're not FOS, we're pushing through cases and we're getting success no matter how long it takes. Right. And you're again, kind of the first batch of, I hate to say experimentation, but it kind of is, right? It's like, how do we maneuver this system with no guidance from the VA ourselves? And so, yeah, we have refined things in the past year based off of every case. So when I see failures or successes, I'm trying to always incorporate it into, how we operate with our SOPs and what to expect. So your case is unique and everyone's is, but, your battle shows that the long game does work. I won't take up too much more of your time, but, tell me, because my goal is to obviously present successes, be honest with people when it's hard, it takes time. But it's trust building. Somebody through a screen or a phone call, how are you going to trust that person and these people because you don't know them? So if you just give me a little minute and kind of what would you tell somebody that was trying to maneuver this process about us at M2M and me with trust, and what advice would you give them?
Well, my advice to them would be this. I'm not I'm not a very trusting person myself. I don't know many people in this day and age that are. But if you're a good reader of people and a good reader of just temperament, or just I don't know, being able to look at somebody and kind of hear them out, and how you can tell if you're the type of person that can tell if who you're talking to is a good person, and you won't have any hard time doing that with y'all, because there wasn't one time that I had a bad feeling or felt like I was getting screwed over. And I really feel like that just began with how open y'all's arms were when and open about any and every little question that I could have. So I guess my answer to that would be, if you have any type of suspicion or doubt, ask, because y'all are an open book. I mean, there's wasn't a single question that I ran by y'all in the very beginning, because it was a little skeptical for me at first. I'm like, am I in the right spot? Is this who I'm supposed to be talking to? And the answer is yes. You're exactly the people I would direct every single person that I know, every veteran that I know that's working on a disability claim and needs help with it, and needs, to learn what they're doing. I'd send them right to you. Y'all are trustworthy people. Y'all are
Wow.
very y'all are very uh sorry, missing words.
Well, I appreciate the vote of confidence, man, because, I'm foregoing a lot of other options in my career, in my life. And it's just, I'm a believer, and, I'm sometimes doubt creeps in. Am I doing the right thing on disability and VA stuff? And like days like today, I enjoy, because the answer is yes, because, yeah, it's a job, but it's kind of like a hobby. And it's something that I have a unique skill set with that not a lot of people do. And I realize that, right? But it's also good. And I'm not Mother Teresa, right? Like, it's not like, oh, I just want to, make the world a perfect place. Like I'm not that guy. I do my best with individuals around me, take care of me and mine, and try to be good and be honest with people. And to be in this position is really, like, I feel privileged, because I have a lot of people trusting in me and trusting in our company and us as a group and a team. And, I take pride in that, because, it's life changing. And think about I kind of go back to this, preventing problems that you don't know will happen, right? Through actual action. I'll talk about mental health. I say this a lot to people sometimes, and I mean it. And, there's nothing wrong with, mental health awareness and bracelets and 22 a day stuff, which is, that's great. I'm raising money and awareness for behavioral health and PTSD and depression, and all that is good. However, buying a bracelet and throwing money at a problem, as far as like in an institution, doesn't help people. And, not to be the cynic, but I am. What helps people is giving them a social, financial, and benefit safety net, so that they can avoid the pitfalls of despair, because it's really about hope. Money is not going to, and benefits are not going to bring you innate happiness, but there's a level where, if you know that you can pay your bills, you can get education if you want it, your family members can get health care, what does most despair come from? Those things, that realm. And if we can somehow impact one person a day, or a week, or 10 people a day, or 100 people a day, think about all the negative things that we can prevent by action. And I'm a man of action, and that's what I believe in, our company believes in, because, maybe we don't sell bracelets to raise awareness. We just get it done. We roll our sleeves up, and one at a time. And that's my philosophy. Next person, right? You get to 70%. What's next? Right? Because I want to get people 100%, because that status is life-changing forever.
Absolutely is.
And then the counter of the prevent the bad, for me, is thinking now the good that can come, like the butterfly effect. What can you do, individuals that we help get to the status? What are they going to do with that education? What are they going to do with that financial freedom? What are they going to do in their family? Like, how are they going to grow and bring good, and just this like domino effect of good? And it gives me chills right now as I speak. That to me is the purpose behind the mission. It's not just about money, from our end or your end. It's the good comes out of this. And that's why it's like, it's really, I'm privileged, and thankful I got to help you. And, it's not just about recruiting people to M2M, but it's to raise awareness this way, because then, do it yourself. If you can get this stuff done, spread this to your friends, do it. Right? Like, if somebody wants help and needs our assistance, absolutely. We are happy and standing by and ready to do it. But, again, it's just, if you do the right thing and treat people right, like you said, like that discernment, like judge people, I'm the same way. I don't trust people. There's always second intentions and gain, and there's bias, no matter who you are. But, if you just do the right thing and tell people the truth and work hard and are above board, it all works out in the end. And if you just keep fighting and never give up in VA disability claims or in life, if you never give up and you do the right thing and you invest in yourself, the sky's the limit.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with that more.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate your time. I'll let you get back to life, and, hit me up. Don't be a stranger. Seriously, anything you need, or, want to chit chat, that kind of stuff. I appreciate you trusting me, and let's get this done together.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all for everything. Y'all changed my life. True, in every sense of the word, changed my life. And I wouldn't be at this point without y'all. Probably be thrown up in a ball somewhere.
Well, man,
stressing out about everything.
Well, my thing to you is do something good with it.
Absolutely.
In your life, help people. It doesn't have to be about VA disability. Like, do something with this, right? With your whole life, with everything you do, work you do, relationships, be a positive force in the universe, you know, in this really terrible time kind of that we live in one way or another. You know, things are devolving. Be the opposite. Fight and don't give up and spread, you know, help. You know, when somebody's struggling, it doesn't have to be about just, you know, sending them to us. Help them. You know, like now you have the ability to help people. So, you know, always try to give back to people in your world, and I'll keep doing it in mine. And then, you know, that's how this thing works. And that's what being a veteran really is about. Just because you serve doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's what you do in that status that you've been through things and sharing that wisdom with our brothers and sisters when they get out. And that's, you know, why we're here.
Yes, sir.
Don't ever give up, man. We'll talk again. God bless you.
Absolutely. Take it easy.